Okay, so Roy Jones Jr., one of my favorite boxers of all time. He's getting back in the ring next month, August 13th, I believe, and he's fighting at home in Florida. All right, how I feel about this, considering this is one of my favorite fighters of all time. I should be excited, but I'm not. Two things that concern me: health and legacy for Roy. I have nothing negative to say about Roy from all accounts. From people I know that know Roy, Roy is an amazing person. He's a great human being. Um, Phenomenal fighter when he was in his prime, and I believe he still has um, a lot of his skill left. But at the level that he's choosing to compete, that window may have closed on those opportunities for him to put on a spectacular show. Even if he fights someone that he could put a clinic on. I mean, what good is it going to do if you're fighting much lesser competition? Um, the gentleman that he's about to fight next, um, I can't say anything negative about him because as a fighter, I have respect for anyone who has the um, the bravery to be in that ring. It's a combat sport. It's dangerous, and if you can last in there, um, my hat goes off to you. So Roy's scheduled to fight on the 13th, which is next week. He's fighting a guy named Rodney Moore. Rodney Moore has a record of 17-11. Um, some people might say he's a journeyman or whatever, but he's a boxer. He's a fighter. He's a man who's training and he's ready to go. Um, so anything could happen. Roy Jones, early in his career, was in the 90s, man. This guy was the most exciting thing in boxing. There's nothing more I'd rather do than to watch a Roy Jones fight back then. This guy was amazing. His skill level to not have ever mastered the basic fundamentals of boxing. He was an amazing athlete. Um, he was fun to watch. He made decent boxers look horrible, and I liked watching him. Um, Roy's older now. He's heavier. He's seen defeat. He was on outside of uh, a disqualification he had with Montel. What was his name? Montel Green, I think, in 1997. Um, Outside of that, Montel Griffin, actually, 97, a guy who he was disqualified against, but he came right back, 5 months later and knocked the guy out. And Griffin was a pretty decent fighter. He's been in there with some good competition, including Antonio Tarver, who Roy Jones fought 3 times and lost to twice. So even with that, even taking a situation like that, it was unfortunate, but Roy was the better fighter. So taking that out, Roy technically was on a 50 fight win streak until he took his first loss against Antonio Tarver. Since then, Roy has lost 9 fights, and he's been knocked out 5 times, 5 knockouts late in your career. Roy's 47 years old now. He's been knocked out as recently as last December. This is not healthy. It's not safe. This is a combat sport. Up until then, Roy hadn't really been touched that much when he was on his win streak. And he was much younger back then. So you're talking about a 47-year-old, I hate to say almost 50 because, he's got a couple years before that. But come on, let's look at it. When you say 47, people start picturing you as a 50-year-old man. No disrespect to Roy, but when you have this in your blood, it's in your blood. Um, Please, I apologize. Please accept my apology if I sound hypocritical. I'm 42 and I'm still active in boxing. I actually started late, just a couple of years ago. I discovered boxing as my new love and passion, and I was training guys, and I decided, hey man, I really like this a lot. I'm still young for my age. I want to give it a shot. And just last Saturday, I brought home a ringside world title out from Kansas City. So obviously, I'm still in the sport. I'm enjoying it, but I don't have the wear and tear that Roy Jones Jr. has. I have rarely been touched. I started late, so my body and my faculties are great. I haven't been knocked out before. I've been unconscious once, and that was in an accident in the Marine Corps. But outside of that, sport competition, never been knocked out. Roy Jones been knocked out 5 times, and at the age of 47, just recently being knocked out in December. I mean, there's a degree of concern for me as as a guy who loves the sport, a guy who hates to see people get hurt, and a guy who really likes Roy Jones. And I want to see him do well as he progresses in life. He's a great commentator. He knows an awful lot about boxing. This guy's a walking encyclopedia, and he obviously loves the sport from every angle. Training, commentating, just being out at fights, mingling with fans, things like that. That's the Roy Jones that we've been seeing and we love to see. In the ring, it's a different story at this point. I like to watch old Roy Jones tape, but now I'll probably watch this fight, but man, I'm going to be on the edge of my seat hoping that something doesn't happen to him. Now, keep in mind, you're also listening to a man who attended the Lamont Peterson-Diaz fight where Pritchard Colon was on the undercard, and Pritchard Colon, after that fight, fell into a coma due to brain injury from taking, well, it seemed to be from the rabbit shots he was taking behind the head with that fight with Terrell Williams. This was last October. So I'm sitting there watching a man be beaten to this extent, and it didn't look like he was in any trouble, really. He complained about the rabbit shots, but he didn't look like he was hurt. And to see that he left the ring and was in bad shape and has been in a coma ever since, and we're approaching a year now. And to see Roy Jones going back in the ring at this age and having been knocked out 5 times, once was just last year, I have a high level of concern. Roy, if you happen to see this video, man, I respect you. I like you a lot. If I ever have a chance to spend some time with you, I'll probably be one of the people who develops love for you, man. I don't want to see you do this. I believe you still have some left in the tank from an athletic standpoint, but this is not, relay racing. This is boxing. This is combat sports, and it's very, very dangerous. And Roy Jones has seen the worst end of it, unfortunately, later in his career. And at 47, it's just too risky. My second concern was legacy. I mean, with 63 wins, 40-something by knockout, God was phenomenal. At this point, with 9 losses and 5 knockouts, Roy's legacy has already been tarnished. That's painful for me. For him to step back in there again and take another risky, it's just unnecessary. I think Roy would do just fine in the gym, doing a little sparring with his young guys, maybe 50-60% speed and power on the spar, just to have that feeling. But taking this risk, my opinion, is taking it too far, and it's unnecessary risk. It's my opinion. Peace.